Hi guys, today I will show you how I made medieval style or Gothic style chair with a high back. I do struggle to find this type of furniture for my BJDs. I really cannot work with the wood, I don't know how, apart from the balsa wood, but unfortunately the balsa wood would not suit for this project because it's very difficult to buy big sheets of balsa wood in order to fit that high back. I'm gonna do them. Sorry if I recycled the paper. I found in the internet human kind of size chair pattern, but I did adjust it, the chair, to fit my BJD MSD size doll. It's going to be for ordinary MSD. I think it's going to be for about 45 centimeters tall. So what I did, I basically adjusted the pattern so you can see I did some more in here. And this is the back. This is going to be like a decoration for the back, like that. And this is going to be the seat, and this obviously is going to be the side of the chair with slightly raised spaces for elbows. I will leave the link below where I got it from, and also I will leave the link for my adjusted pattern so you can kind of see what measurements I added to it. So literally it's quite an easy project, but it's time consuming only because it requires some additional things after you cut the things out from the foam board. Yeah, so the material I'm going to use for that is foam board. Basically it's like a foam board. It's plastic on the top, sandwich, and there is like a foam sandwich in between. There is two types of foam boards. One is a hard one and one is a soft one like this one, so this is easier to cut. I've got another type which is really hard to cut. This can be cut with ordinary X-Acto knife. The only thing is that I would advise you to get a new one, or at least to change the blade, because it's going to be very difficult to cut if this is not properly sharpened. So what sheet size you need? I've got, it's a very big kind of sheet of foam board. It's A3 size, and I bought it in a pack of 10, I think, from eBay. And they come in different thicknesses, and the thickness I used was, oh, where's my little ruler? Yeah, it was 5 millimeters. So that's, I think, appropriate for the MSD size scale. For SD, I would say maybe you can go further, or you can always buy, if it's not available, you can always buy thinner one and just sandwich them together. It's easy material to work with, but unfortunately what it does, it's when you cut it with the X-Acto knife, it's kind of rag the edges. So I will show you how to remedy that afterwards. So what you do, obviously, you just trace the patterns to the foam board, and you can just use the ordinary pencil. It draws very well on it. And then it's a good idea to have a metallic ruler, because for this straight pattern like that, it will be much easier to actually it's not as easy as it looks. Trust me, it's quite difficult to cut. Well, because I put a new razor now in, the edge actually cut very nicely. But if you use the old X-Acto knife, you get that all these weird ragged edges. So So I cut the patterns from the foam board, and as you can see, that I was telling you that the edges a bit ragged, but some of them actually were right. It's really depends on how sharp your X-Acto knife is, and that's why I used a new blade. And it's not too bad, apart from when you have to cut this kind of irregular shape, that's when you get form. So I take the glue gun and I literally just fill the small gaps between between the two plastic bits. So for example, this one, as you can see, is a bit dented in the middle, so there is not enough foam, so I basically fill that in, so I'll level them to the rest of the piece. You can use latex actually, or a wood filler, but the latex actually will make the piece stronger. I haven't got latex at the moment, so I have to stick with a glue gun. So what you do, make sure you actually don't put too much, and you just smother it in the hot glue, filling these small gaps in. And to remove it, you just use the old piece and just level it. So now I finished gluing the edges, leveling them, and now we're just gonna assemble the chair. So this is pretty much straightforward. This part, this little window, just gonna apply to this back with the hot glue gun. Okay, so this glued on now. So that is the seat. I don't want to glue just like that. What I do, I'm gonna reinforce it with the toothpicks. So I'm gonna cut them in half roughly, or maybe in quarters, not quarters, in thirds, like that. I think that's gonna be enough. Not too much. And what I'm gonna do is just make sure I put the dents in here roughly. It's gonna be here, here, and here somewhere. So now this one goes here. You can obviously be more precise and use the ruler, but I'm kind of not bothered because I've done this before. That's really rough, I would say. So just here somewhere. So let's just check whether it's gonna work. There you go, it's in. So now I'll take it away. Oops. And use the hot glue gun. I'll glue them in place now. Don't put too much glue though, because otherwise it's gonna be quite chunky and the pieces wouldn't glue properly. There you go. Right, done. Now the easy part, just glue this to the sides. Make sure they level with the fit. So how I need to glue them basically, so this part goes like that to this one, like this. I know there is a gap in there, but we're gonna fill it in with the hot glue, this gap, to reinforce the sides. That's the design of the chair, so you can't really do anything about it. You can do the same thing which I did with the seat. You can reinforce the sides with the toothpicks, but I wouldn't do it because, like I said, I'm gonna reinforce it from the back with the hot glue. So that's the side glued, but I'm gonna fill that this gap in with the hot glue. So now it's been totally assembled. This looks alright. Now the question about what can you use to paint the foam board. You can use any acrylics, but I would advise you to prime it first. I'm gonna prime it with my favorite acrylic clear gesso. Also you can use a spray paint. Unfortunately the only spray paint I've got is a silver color, so I don't want really silver furniture. I want it black or dark brown. And don't forget that you obviously will need some sort of cushions for these chairs. So I made 3 so far. Well, one is a bit smaller, can be used for the back, I think. But so I made these cushions. They're pretty straightforward. I mean, I don't need to show you how to make them. So that's what the chairs look like. Like I said, I made the cushions, so they're totally removable. So what basically I did, I painted the chairs with well, mix of dark brown and black acrylic paints. After I primed them, like I said, with acrylic gesso, and so that's, and then I sprayed with gloss varnish, and they're ready. I will show them with the dolls on now.